Well, first of all, we've heard a lot recently about how desperately we need to maintain the global temperature for the next 12 years. But where is the technology to save us? Our next speaker, Lucas Joppa, believes that it is already here. Please welcome to the stage Neanda Salvaterra from the Wall Street Journal and Chief Sustainability Officer of Microsoft, Lucas Joppa.
Hello, everybody. We got Lucas from Microsoft in the house. How about a round of applause? We thought of doing a Rambo entrance for you, but this is what you got, you know. Awesome. So are you ready to talk about artificial intelligence and how it may be able to help solve some environmental problems and why technology hasn't so far? You ready to talk about that? Yeah? Do I hear a yes?
Yeah.
All right.
They don't seem entirely committed yet.
Good. So then I'll open with a really brilliant quote. Stupidity got us into this mess, and stupidity will get us out. And that's by all our favorite brilliant guy, Homer Simpson. On that note, I found out that you are a computational ecologist. Does that make you a cyborg? You're a man who knows machine and nature.
Yeah, I don't know what that makes me. It makes me one of the few people with that job title or that description in training, I think. Look, I'm the Chief Environmental Officer for Microsoft. I am an environmental scientist, but I've spent my career in the tech sector. And I've focused on the peer research side of it. I've focused on leading research programs at the intersection of environmental and computer science. And now I'm focusing on taking that almost decade of investment that we in the company have made and deploying it across the company and outside of our four walls. But I think that, you know, this man and machine and the conversation around artificial intelligence in general is really fascinating because for those of you who have spent any time studying nature, which we did not invent, in fact, we are simply part of, you quickly realize it's one of the most complicated, or it is the most complicated system on Earth. And the more you study it, the more you know how much we have left yet to learn. And then you take machines, which we do build, and the more we build them, the more complicated we make them, the more complicated the systems that they run, and the more we realize that we're getting further and further away from understanding the systems that we ourselves built. And so I get to sit at the intersection of two incredibly complex things, nature and machines, and get up every day and think about how to do that.
So you're almost a cyborg. That's the answer. That's a good one.
Right.
Yeah, so help me understand, how can AI help solve some environmental problems or help catalog data, environmental data?
Right, sure. So, you know, the main reason I'm doing my job, the main reason I'm at Microsoft is because I do think that the work the tech sector has done over the past decades and the work particularly that Microsoft has done to build up the machine learning foundations and then under that the cloud infrastructure foundations and the data collection efforts that all feed into this increasingly artificial intelligence kind of styled life that we have is fantastic for society. It really has come to define the information age that we live in. But it's also been done to date in a pretty exceptionally narcissistic way, right? So we talk about the information age as if we live in some great time for humanity's insights into life on Earth, but it's really an information age that is only about us.
Hey, please don't social media shame me, okay? I like my AI being all about me, but fine.
As long as you're posting photos of animals on social media, that's fine.
Yeah, cats
which many of the organizations that we work with do, actually. So what I'm really interested in is how do we use all the advances that we've made in turning a lens on ourselves? How do we turn that technology lens on the rest of life on Earth so that we're no longer flying blind to where things are, what things are, and how fast they're changing. And machine learning and the broader field of artificial intelligence has incredible capacity to do that, whether it's just from traditional computer vision or acoustic recognition techniques, all the way to really sophisticated algorithms for making predictions about the future or optimizing how we should use our resources moving forward.
Let's get specific. I did understand that. You know, basically, we know a lot about us because we all post stuff on social media, right? But not so much about our environment, and we could learn more, and we could use AI to learn more. But what could we use it for? Could we find out how many different kinds of plankton there is?
Sure.
What else? Like, what specific things could we apply it to?
Yeah, so there's a ton of things. I'll give you a couple examples, and all of them come out of this program that Microsoft announced about a year ago, about 11 months ago actually, called AI for Earth. So this is a cross-company program, $50 million over 5 years dedicated to supporting projects exactly on this topic. And some of the projects that we support are fantastic. They can fundamentally change the way that we understand what is where, how much is there, and how fast is it changing. Whether that's the deployment of advances in deep neural networks and deep learning on satellite imagery, so that we can do things, for instance, like understand where our forests are, where our fields are, how our agricultural crops are growing, and make predictions about that moving forward. Or taking a more social media approach and empowering every single person here in this room and all around the world to be citizen scientists and take photos of animals and have machines label those down to the species level, have additional machines that identify not just species, what species is in a particular photo, but what individual, so it's Wally the whale or Gerald the giraffe. And then you can use that information to build very detailed population estimates, censuses of wildlife instead of humans, so that we can truly understand how good or how bad things are. If you saw the Living Planet Index that WWF released in collaboration with many other nonprofits, you saw that in 2 human generations, we wiped out over 60% of animals on Earth. That's shocking, right? And it was done in a way where very few people knew that it was happening. Society had very little insight into what was going on. And so I think that artificial intelligence has incredible transformational potential in that space.
All right. I mean, I'm having visions of, you know, I remember when environmentalists try to calculate, you know, how many, say, of an endangered species there are in a certain location, and that's like sort of an application. So that's very interesting. We could actually make some decisions with some information underneath.
Yep.
All right. Well, what are the obstacles? Because it seems like you're talking from a perspective where this hasn't actually been widely deployed, or am I mistaken? What's the adoption rate? Like, are governments using AI? Are corporations? Are private citizens using AI? What's going on?
Right. Well, I'll give you the answer that everybody seeks in their life, which is you're right. The adoption rate isn't as high as it could be. And I think that comes down to a few things. One is that, or I guess it's kind of encapsulated in the great irony of our time, which is that we've so often asked organizations and individuals with the least to do the most, to solve some of our biggest existential challenges, like nonprofits and underfunded government agencies, organizations like that. So the challenges for me really are kind of threefold, and it's the way that we designed the AI for Earth program. It's that, first and foremost, budget should not be a barrier to using technology to tackle environmental challenges. And I know many other organizations in the tech sector are committed to this, and Microsoft definitely is. We have an entire grant-making program to ensure that our technologies gets in the hands of people that want to use it in this way. Second, an acknowledgement that just because you have access to technology doesn't mean you know how to use it or know how to use it to your fullest extent. This is a huge barrier at the moment because the tech sector is racing so fast and getting so far ahead of the average person's ability to keep up with what's currently available and what's the state of the art. And then the third thing is really the tech sector itself. Companies like Microsoft need to put their money where their mouths are, put not just their money, but what makes them special. For Microsoft, what makes us special is our technology and our investments in deploying our technology. So put that on the line and go out and work hand in hand with organizations all around the world. And that's what we've been doing. In the 11 months that AI First's been around, we have a grant portfolio operating in over 50 countries with something like 140 or plus grantees. And we're just looking to expand that, quite frankly, until we're operating in every country on Earth and hopefully every state in the United States.
You hear that? Microsoft is coming for your species.
That's right.
So beyond sort of kind of the corporate responsibility aspect of this, why is Microsoft doing this? What do you really get out of it?
Sure. I mean, I think, look, this has something to do with corporate responsibility, CSR, traditionally as it's thought of, only in the sense that CSR should be part of every company's business model, right? So yes, it's the right thing to do, but more importantly, and our customers, our investors, our regulators all expect it, but more importantly, we're an AI company. Go read our earnings report. That's what Microsoft is. We're operating with an intelligent cloud, intelligent edge that's woven together with artificial intelligence. So why wouldn't we be trying to deploy our core competency into one of society's largest sectors, the natural resource sector, that also happens to be presenting one of society's largest challenges, environmental sustainability? I mean, come on, if you're in the tech sector, you look at the problem and you say, big societal problem, big data, big compute, that just equals, by definition, a big opportunity for society and a big opportunity for your business.
So I got it. I do understand that. Who would own this data?
Yeah, look, I think there's a lot of questions going on around data ownership, obviously, in the tech sector. Microsoft, at least in our perspective, I will not venture to speak for anyone outside of our four walls, but we've taken a pretty differentiated approach on it. I mean, your data are your data. Our business model is not predicated on your data as our currency. Our customers are our currency in many ways, right? And so they bring their data with them. We do everything to ensure privacy and security, et cetera, et cetera. That's not to say, though, that we don't need greater transparency, greater data sets and greater transparency. And we really should be, I believe, looking to our governments, which already drive some of the larger environmental data collection efforts around the world, all the way up to funnel that information all the way up into centralized repositories and make them easily available to all of the organizations that you all represent so that you can take action with those data moving forward.
Got it. So it sounds like you want to give us more information to be able to make better decisions, but I'm going to now talk about toothpaste, because naturally toothpaste has something to do with artificial intelligence. When I go into the store to buy toothpaste, I get overwhelmed with the information I'm given. You know, what can make my teeth look nicer the next time I smile, all that. And so actually it leads to decision-making paralysis. So just you giving me information, how's that really going to help me make better environmental decisions?
Yeah, so I think, maybe in your world, toothpaste has something to do with artificial intelligence. I think the interesting thing here is that sometimes there can be kind of a paralysis induced by a deluge of data. I actually think that the digitization of economies, the creation of digital data, it's not the data that we really care about, it's the information that can be extracted from those data. That's what digital technologies do. That's what digital platforms allow you to do, is collect vast amounts of data and cut through or unlock people from a data-driven paralysis and allow them to ask contextualized questions and get contextualized answers back out of that massive amount of data.
So so the data would be searchable and queryable, and so you would be able to make associations. Okay, got it. Well, this sounds like we could get rid of a complete class of workers. They're called policymakers, right? So if AI can collect the data, you can query it, let's just make politicians redundant.
Yeah, I think there's an easy way and a hard way to answer that question. No, I think, look, first and foremost, I don't think artificial intelligence is coming to take anything over. I think artificial intelligence is coming to help people make better decisions, and policymakers and politicians are some of those that make the most important decisions on our behalf. And to the extent that we can put artificial intelligence technologies in their hands to better understand the full parameter space of the repercussions of the policy choices that they're making, the better. People create human problems, and people are going to solve human problems.
All right, so don't fear. AI is here, and it's not coming to take away anything from us. Lucas, thank you so much. That was so interesting. I really appreciate it. All right?
Thank you. Thank you.